curious about which delicious desserts from the 1970s we believe should make a comeback? Hang tight! We're about to reveal 20 irresistible desserts that promise to leave your mouth watering. Weren't hungry yet? Well, that's about to change. Magic cookie bars got their start from an Eagle brand recipe in the 60s and caught everyone's attention with their awesome taste and texture game. Imagine a buttery graham cracker crust layered with sweetened condensed milk, then piled with chocolate chips, butterscotch chips, coconut, and nuts. It's a chewy, gooey slice of heaven. They were a cinch to whip up and didn't need much time in the oven, which made them a hit for busy bakers and holiday times. Interestingly, they also go by the name Hello Dolly bars in some regions, adding a bit of theatrical flair to their homey appeal. But as years passed and people started leaning towards fresher and less processed goodies, the craze for these bars kind of fizzled. Usually they were cut into squares or bars, rocking a no-fuss, rustic vibe that made them super easy to serve and enjoy. The mix of sweetened condensed milk with coconut and chocolate created a taste that screamed 1970s home baking. Napoleons, or millefeuilles, are these fancy pastries with layers of puff pastry and pastry cream, all topped off with this slick glazed icing. Originating from France in the 18th century and known for their 1,000 leaves, that's what millefeuille means, these pastries were a big hit in fancy bakeries for their classy look and delicate flavors, perfect for high-end events and fine dining spots. Making them was no small feat, though, and as lighter, simpler desserts became more popular recently, Napoleons started showing up less often. Usually, these pastries were served up in tidy rectangles, with the icing artfully done up to make them total eye candy. The super precise layers and that creamy, flaky vibe are what made munching on a Napoleon feel like a luxury. Back in the late 70s, Jell-O rolled out pudding pops, turning the frozen treat game on its head with something way creamier than the usual ice pops. Made from milk, sugar, and pudding mix, these pops were all about delivering a super smooth, rich taste. At their peak, pudding pops were so popular that they spawned a range of flavors, including chocolate, vanilla, and swirls. They totally stood out, thanks in part to those catchy Bill Cosby ads shouting, "Pudding in a pop." That marketing charm made these treats a big deal in households across the board. But even with their popularity, Kraft decided to cut them from the lineup in the early 2000s. They were trying to slim down their product range. The bright, fun packaging and that quirky non-wood stick are what a lot of folks remember about them. Down in Greensboro, North Carolina, Mrs. L.H. Wiggins came up with the Hummingbird Cake, which Southern Living magazine made famous in '78. This cake's got it all: bananas, pineapple, pecans, cinnamon, and it's topped with a killer cream cheese frosting that ties all those spicy and fruity flavors together. It became a big deal fast, thanks to its unique taste combo and the fact that it was pretty easy to make for any kind of get-together. Over time, though, as dessert trends evolved and global flavors took the spotlight, the Hummingbird Cake kind of drifted out of the mainstream. The cake is particularly beloved in the South, where it remains a celebrated part of regional culinary traditions. Typically, this cake was stacked up high in layers and generously slathered with frosting, making it a showstopper at parties. The Watergate cake, popping up in the 70s, was all about riding the wave of the famous scandal it's named after. This pistachio-flavored cake, made with pistachio pudding mix, sports a funky green color and a nutty taste, lightened up with some club soda. It's usually decked out with a frosting that's also got pudding in it and sprinkled with pecans, making for a pretty unique look and texture. The whole novelty of its theme and the connection to a wild moment in politics helped make it a hit. But as people started digging more natural and less artificially flavored sweets, its star faded. Watergate cake was typically a sheet cake, super easy to slice up for casual gatherings. Pokey Cake hit the scene in the 70s and got everyone excited because you could do so much with it. After baking a simple vanilla or chocolate cake, you poke holes all over it and fill those up with Jell-O, pudding, or sweetened condensed milk. This trick lets the filling soak into the cake, making it super moist and adding layers of flavor. Jell-O pushed this idea big time, showing everyone how a plain cake could turn into a showstopper. It was a hit because you could tweak it with different fillings depending on what you were into. But as tastes got more sophisticated and folks leaned towards less sugary stuff, Poke Cake kind of lost its spotlight. It was usually served in a big dish, looking casual and family-friendly. You'd often see it with a fluffy layer of whipped cream on top, maybe some fruit or sprinkles too, just to make those flavors pop. Butterscotch brownies, or blondies, mix it up with brown sugar, butter, flour, eggs, and baking powder, all jazzed up with butterscotch chips. These goodies swapped out chocolate for a sweet caramel-like vibe and caught on fast. They were super easy to whip up, making them a go-to for anyone needing a quick dessert fix without the intense richness of chocolate. Their ease of preparation and ability to store well made them popular for potlucks, school functions, and holiday treat exchanges. Over time, though, as bakers got more into gourmet and unique flavors, blondies weren't the main event anymore. Usually, you'd find them cut into squares, laid out on a platter, perfect for grabbing a bite without any fuss. The combo of a chewy middle with a bit of crunch around the edges really made these stand out. Snowball cakes are all about that winter vibe, with their fluffy marshmallow filling and a coating of shredded coconut that looks just like snow. Inside, there's a chocolate sponge cake that keeps everything rich and interesting. These treats got their name from their cool, snowball-like appearance, making them a hit during the holiday season. They used to be all over the place as pre-packaged snacks from brands like Hostess, known for their fun and distinctive look. But as people started choosing more natural and less processed options, snowball cakes kind of faded out. They were usually wrapped up all neat, making them easy to grab and go. Magic Pan crepe cakes come from those Magic Pan restaurants that made crepe dishes a big deal back in the 60s and 70s. Here's how they do it. They layer up thin crepes with all sorts of fillings, from sweet creams and fruits to savory cheeses and spinach. Basic crepe batter is pretty simple, just flour, eggs, milk, and butter. But when you stack them up and fill them just right, it turns into something special. Each layer was carefully assembled to ensure the flavors melded beautifully, providing a gourmet experience that was rare at the time. These crepe cakes were a hit because you could watch them being made right in front of you, which was pretty cool back then. Though they were a favorite for a while, as the Magic Pan spots closed down and eating out got more casual, crepe cakes weren't as common. When they served them, it was always with style, dressed up with a little sauce or a sprinkle of powdered sugar to make them look as good as they tasted. Neapolitan ice cream sandwiches throw together classic flavors: vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry ice cream, squeezed between cookies or wafers. This treat took the old-school Neapolitan ice cream idea from Italy, where mixing up flavors was the thing, and turned it into a fun, easy-to-eat dessert. Having all those flavors in one bite made it super popular at family get-togethers and community events. It was a blast of color and taste that just felt like a party. But as the dessert scene got crowded with new, exotic flavors and gourmet options, these ice cream sandwiches didn't stand out as much. They were simple but effective, with clear layers of ice cream showing through the cookies, making every bite a mix of creamy and crunchy. Divinity is this super fluffy cloud-like candy that popped up in the US early in the 20th century. It's mostly whipped up from egg whites, sugar, and corn syrup, and often you'll find nuts like pecans or walnuts thrown in for a nice crunch. Making Divinity can be tricky because humidity can totally mess with it, but when you get it right, it's like eating a sweet, airy piece of heaven. It got super popular around the holidays because it's a blast to make with family and tastes like a festive treat. Over time, though, as quicker, easier sweets came around, not as many folks made it from scratch. It's usually scooped onto wax paper to set into little clouds, sometimes topped with a nut. Imagine a cake that's like a party in every slice. That's Tequila Sunrise cake for you. It's inspired by the cocktail, mixing up orange zest and grenadine in the batter, with a good shot of tequila to kick it up. The grenadine does its magic to make the cake look like a sunrise, all vibrant and inviting. This cake was a hit because who doesn't want to try a boozy dessert that looks as fun as it tastes? Perfect for adult parties and summer gatherings, this cake brought a zestful twist to any celebration. But as folks started leaning towards simpler and more wholesome flavors, this flashy cake became less of a go-to. When it's served up, it's usually all dressed up with an orange slice or a cherry on top, making it perfect for any bash. It's a fun twist on dessert, turning your typical cake into something that's a toast to good times. Fruit cocktail cake is a throwback to when bakers loved using whatever was in the pantry, and canned fruit cocktail was a staple. This cake mixes the canned fruit, including the syrup, with standard cake fixings like flour and eggs. It's crowned with a brown sugar topping that gets all nice and crispy in the oven. It was super popular for its ease and the fact that you could whip it up on a whim. Often served at community potlucks and family reunions, this cake was a go-to for its convenience and crowd-pleasing sweetness. As fresher and more natural ingredients became the norm, though, this cake kinda took a back seat. It's typically baked in a square pan and served straight from the dish, making it the perfect comfort food at family gatherings. The moist texture with that sweet, crunchy top makes it a simple pleasure, just a real cozy, old-school dessert. Wacky Cake is also known as depression cake because it came about when stuff like eggs and milk were hard to come by. It's vegan by accident, using vinegar and baking soda to make it rise instead of eggs. This cake is all about being deliciously simple and affordable, mixing everything right in the baking pan, which means less mess too. Although it was a big deal back when fancy ingredients were scarce, it's not the showstopper it once was with all the fancy desserts out there now. Still, it remains a popular choice in vegan and eco-conscious communities for its minimal environmental impact and allergen-free ingredients. You usually just sprinkle some powdered sugar on top, and it's good to go. The moist, rich chocolate taste makes it hard to believe it's made without any dairy or eggs. It's just a smart, tasty solution when you're short on supplies. Snowball cookies are these awesome little treats that are perfect for the holidays. They're a type of shortbread packed with nuts, like almonds or pecans, mixed into a buttery dough, then rolled in powdered sugar while they're still warm. They end up looking just like little snowballs, which is super cute around Christmas. These cookies are favorites because they're easy to make, delicious to eat, and perfect for sharing, which is probably why they show up at so many holiday parties. They're known by different names around the world, but no matter what you call them, they're a sweet tradition. The dough needs to chill to keep the cookies from spreading too much, so they stay nice and dense. Peach Melba is this classy dessert that was whipped up by a famous French chef for an Australian opera singer named Melba. It's pretty straightforward but elegant, just poached peaches and raspberry sauce over vanilla ice cream. The peaches get poached in syrup to sweeten them up, then they're laid over creamy ice cream and drizzled with that zesty raspberry sauce. This dessert became a big deal because it's light and refreshing, a nice change from heavier sweets. It's often served in a fancy glass dish to show off the pretty colors and layers, making it a hit at upscale dinners. Teacakes are these small, sweet cakes that go perfectly with a cup of tea, hence the name. They're usually pretty simple, made with butter, sugar, flour, and eggs, and sometimes jazzed up with lemon or vanilla. Depending on where you're at, they might toss in some dried fruits or nuts. In the southern US, they're more like soft, sweet cookies and aren't fancy at all. They became a staple because they're easy to make and just the thing for munching during a tea break or as a light dessert. Interestingly, variations of tea cakes can be found globally, with each region adding its local twist to the basic recipe. Normally, they're baked up small and round and dusted with a bit of powdered sugar. They're all about being understated but delicious, perfect for those moments when you want something sweet without making a big deal about it. Hawaiian Delight is all about those tropical vibes, mixing pineapple, coconut, and macadamia nuts into a creamy, dreamy dessert. It layers crushed pineapple with coconut-flavored pudding and whipped topping, all on a crumbly crust. It's a favorite for gatherings where you want something easy and refreshing that screams tropical paradise. This dessert is particularly popular during the summer months, serving as a cool treat that transports eaters to the sunny shores of Hawaii with every spoonful. This dessert is usually chilled and served in squares, making it super easy to grab a piece. The combo of crunchy nuts, creamy pudding, and fruity pineapple makes every bite a mini vacation. Pink champagne cake is all about celebration. This cake uses actual champagne in the batter, which gives it a light, airy feel with a hint of bubbly. It's usually tinted pink for that extra festive touch. The cake is often layered with champagne-infused buttercream, making every slice a toast in itself. It's a popular pick for weddings and big celebrations, where its elegant look and unique flavor really shine. What makes this cake truly special is its ability to double as a celebratory toast, offering a sip of champagne in every bite. Typically, it's dressed up with fancy decorations like edible pearls or delicate frosting designs that make it just right for a special occasion. Panoche is a kind of fudge that comes from New England and packs a big caramel punch, thanks to loads of brown sugar mixed with butter, milk, and vanilla. It's different from your typical chocolate fudge because it's got this rich, molasses-like flavor and a slightly grainy texture that's really unique. Often, it's loaded with nuts like walnuts or pecans, adding a bit of crunch. This confection is a staple at many New England fall fairs, where its old-fashioned charm is a crowd pleaser among those who appreciate classic sweets. It's a favorite at fairs and candy shops, especially in the Northeast, where it's usually sold by the block. Making panoche is all about cooking the sugar mixture just right, then beating it till it's thick and pouring it to set. It's a down-home kind of candy that's sticky, sweet, and totally irresistible if you're into old-school sweets. Craving more throwback treats from the 1970s? If so, like this video, click subscribe, and stay tuned for more nostalgia trips.